أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. By the barakah of Sidi Shaykh, Sidi Mohamed Faouzi Karkari قدس الله سره. Notes from lecture of April 15th, 2024, part 2. Before starting this video, I would like to say that this work would never see the light without Sidi Shaykh. If something is wrong, it will be from myself, and everything that is correct is from Sidi Shaykh. Earlier in this lecture, Sidi Shaykh spoke about how one should face hardships. In this part, he continues to emphasize the importance of patience and reliance upon Allah. Sidi Shaykh said that one should always seek Allah's help in all their affairs. The one who seeks Allah's help does not need to express their need in words, because Allah knows what is in their soul. They do not have the right to manifest, inform, and show their seeking for help to others. Doing so would be a sign of heedlessness and reliance on their soul instead of relying solely upon their Lord. If one were to understand the meaning of the connection of observation, wasl al-muraqaba, they would observe the presence of the Lord in every breath. They would recognize the existence is only attributed to the Lord. They become captivated by this spiritual attraction, jadba, and become immersed in eternal happiness, relying upon Allah in everything. Sidi Shaykh added that he was not known before, and the reason behind him being known is the goodness and generosity of this night, which is the night of his spiritual seclusion. It was fleeing into a night that might be a gate, a glance, and a response that he had been forgiven for his past. As for the future, it has not yet happened, because the mind is heedless of what is to come, but always in account of what has passed. Sidi Shaykh added that it is a glad tidings, bushra, for those who return to review the pages of their days and catch themselves before it becomes an argument against them. So they examine what they have done themselves and what has happened to them from others, causing harm. That is why Sayyidina Ya'qub alayhi salam said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, so patience is most fitting, and Allah is the one sought for help. Sayyidina Ya'qub alayhi salam did not commit the sin himself, rather it occurred because of those most beloved to him. This sin was a trial, ibtila, that came upon him, which he welcomed with beautiful patience and by returning to the presence of his Lord. There was no complaint or supplication from him. There was only forgetting others and returning to the presence of Allah, recognizing that everything comes from him. Seeing everything as coming from Allah means not viewing it as a sin, but rather that it will come with a blessing. That is what he said, beautiful patience, sabr al-jameel. It is as if he is saying that I did not test the beauty of patience until this ride happened. On the other hand, if one finds themselves in distress and trying to be patient, this means that they are distant, even though they might be speaking with affirmational knowledge of the divine names and attributes and shown that they have tasted some of its proximity. This is a mistake. When one arrives at this knowledge, they do not have time to complain, but rather they search in the trial as a sign and a blessing from the Lord at the beginning of some goodness. For whoever thinks well of Allah, Allah thinks well of him. Sidi Shaykh added that Allah is jealous of his servant from his own self. Therefore, he tests him with the very thing that kept him away from his presence. Thus, one receives harm from the very thing they once considered a source of relief and elevation, because Allah distances everything else from them, as He wants them for Himself. As long as Allah desires His servant exclusively for Himself, they should take pride in this divine attention and companionship. However, when one is constantly complaining about illness, fatigue, anxiety, and so on, always lamenting suffering, poverty, spiritual dryness, etc., it is a sign that blessings are forthcoming, yet the person is turning away from them. When one studied the Shama'il and Sunan, biography and traditions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the stories of all other prophets and messengers in the Quran, one realizes that they endured trials far beyond ordinary experience. They accepted the situation with complete calmness, patience, contemplation, and thinking. They were preoccupied not on finding a solution, but on seeking refuge in the Lord, glorified be He. There are those who stood on the edge of the precipice, never expecting an opening to appear. For example, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, when he fled and reached the sea, he had no indication that the sea would part to become dry land. This was for him to rely on no one save Allah, returning to Him alone. It is a sign from Allah that who or whatever one perceives as a source of success may actually lead to distance and misguidance. So one should turn to Allah, and they will find Allah before them. He is with them wherever they are. Wherever they turn, they will see the face of Allah. In that moment, all directions will become the face of Allah for them. So that was all for this video. Alhamdulillah الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق. اللهم لك الحمد اللهم لك الحمد اللهم لك الحمد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.